Hello everyone, JSimLady here. Welcome back. I am going to go over the blog post that came with yesterday's trailer in today's video. I'm having a rough time with this computer and my internet and being able to upload and stream and stuff, so I kind of have to break these things down into bite-sized portions until I figure out what's going on here. But anyways, I also was just having a rough day. I was learning a new program, a new editing program, and I was learning like as I was trying to get that video done and uploaded. It was the second time only I'd ever used that program, and I had no other choice, so it was like trial by fire. Anyways, I do still want to get into the blog post, share my thoughts and feelings. I'm not going to read the whole blog post to you. I'm going to read the introduction, and then we'll go over some of the other stuff, and I'll share my thoughts and feelings about all of it a little bit more with this better understanding of the pack. Getaways galore in the Sims 4 Adventure Awaits expansion pack. Welcome simmers of all ages to Gibby Point, a new and wonderful world bursting with play, discovery, and adventure at every turn. Many years ago, before it was inhabited, a great wave washed through Gibby Point to create a lush and fertile landscape. It became home to jellyfish, glowworms, and plumbirds. It's also where the world's largest geyser, unusual caves of crystals, and a bioluminescent bay were formed. But it was more than these unusual creatures and natural wonders that drew Sims from all over to Gibby Point. Here, adventure can be found around every corner. Embrace the spirit of childhood and carry it in a bold, adventurous life. Meet new Sims, uncover quests, and explore new sites. Discover getaways like kids camp, fitness retreat, or even a romantic contest. Gibby Point is also the world in which we're excited to introduce the new getaway system with custom venues and getaway planner, expanded childhood content including new sentiments and a playground builder, and new activities, traits, careers, objects, challenges, and more. So what do you say? Are you ready to explore The Sims 4 Adventure Awaits expansion pack and get away to see exactly what you've been missing? Okay, that's a lot, but let's go over it little by little. I've seen some people mention using the term getaway versus vacation to say that these things might be like day trip type of things. In the context of this introduction here, I can see how that distinction was made, especially since they mention a kids camp, a fitness retreat, and then a romantic contest. The first two do indicate sleeping away from home. The second one does not necessarily indicate sleeping away from home per se, but also maybe it kind of does. It's hard to really tell. I will tell you, where I live, we have no distinction. A getaway, a vacation, and a trip are all the same thing to us. You're going away from home. I think the most distinction we make is that trips, or like, what else would you call them? I guess just trips. Trips are something you go on for like a work retreat, or in this case a romantic contest, or even a summer camp. That's a trip that you go on, whereas a vacation is somewhere you go to relax or sightsee or visit a theme park or something like that. So we do have some distinction between trip and vacation, and if I really had to like think hard about it or really put a fine point on it, I would say we probably distinguish getaways more similar to vacations where I'm at. But again, those are very loose distinctions for us around here. We basically use those terms interchangeably, honestly. So that thing that I saw yesterday was apparently not a cave. It was what was it again? I forget. It was like a bioluminescent bay. That's what it was. It was a bay, not a cave. Although strangely enough, we do end up with caves of crystal as well. So I was kind of on the right track, and it's a weird coincidence that we ended up with both, and I thought one was the other. But that's kind of cool. I'm excited to see new caves with crystals, potentially new crystals. I think the Forgotten Grotto could have really been an amazing place if they would have added a little touch more scenery to it and like lots more rocks and dig spots. That would have been the perfect place to add just a ton of rocks and dig spots to collect crystals and metals and things like that at. I really feel like they failed with the Forgotten Grotto, but I said that about Sylvan Glade as well. I think that could have been something more. But that's just my opinion. I'm glad to see we're revisiting caves and that we can go inside of them, explore them. Is there going to be a lot in there, or is it going to be kind of like the bamboo forest from Snowy Escape, where we can go on like hikes through it and we don't necessarily see it? We do see the geyser, and we do see it has an area to walk around in it, and we do see the bioluminescent bay, and obviously Sims were swimming in there. So I'm gonna guess it's something more akin to neighborhood decoration meets park, kind of like the playgrounds we have in Newcrest and Willow Creek and stuff like that, where they're neighborhood decoration. They're not on a lot, but they're an interactive park to play at as well. Does that make sense? Also, the way they talk about jellyfish, glowworms, and plumbirds here indicates to me that they are going to be more than just scenery. They didn't mention the seagulls in Sulani or anything like that. The only time they mention the animals in the game is when they are something more than just background scenery to fill the world out with. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. I wouldn't necessarily say they're gonna be pets per se, although the plumbird might very well be. I think it's gonna be more akin to we can catch them and put them in cages or tanks, perhaps, although we didn't see anything like that in the trailer, so who really knows. But it does say down below further that they really they feel very like, what's the wording they used? I'd have to look for it now. The locals who adore their jellyfish. That to me feels more pet-like than anything else. So I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait for the gameplay trailer to see exactly what that is all about. But it just kind of goes over more of what was in the trailer. The geyser, you see that park there. I don't like, it could be like that park in Ciudad where you can walk around, like there's a sign to click on and you can go for a walk, or your Sims rather can go for a walk around the park. Or you can use the various points like the geyser as backdrops for photos. I think that's what that's kind of like. Here it looks like open water swimming with jellyfish, but I'm gonna assume you can also catch the jellyfish, because again, they mention them more like pets than like scenery. And then here we are catching butterfly, obviously. I'm wondering if it's gonna be more than just butterfly, or it's basically just gonna be butterfly. I don't know how I feel about that. If it is just butterflies, I think I would kind of like it that way, it being just butterflies. I'm not sure. I guess I don't really have too strong of opinions about that, other than it gives kids a cute new way to catch bugs. essentially, and that I like. Then we have this image down here, which, as far as I know, wasn't even shown during the trailer, and it kind of almost looks like they're panning for gold or something. I don't know. So obviously there are activities in this new pack that haven't even been mentioned yet anywhere, not even in this blog post here. It does say Sims can unwind at boardwalk festivals, grab the controller of a retro gaming console. See, I knew I saw that. I knew I saw that in the trailer. I'm like, should I mention it or not? Because that looks like an original NES controller, Nintendo controller. It looks like some kind of retro gaming setup. Should I mention it? And I just kind of briefly touched on it and then moved on, but man, when I get it right, it's not very often that I do, but when I get it right, I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Anyways, it does mention catching butterflies specifically, so I'm gonna guess there's no other bugs there, but it also doesn't mention this either, and yet we have whatever that is, so who knows. Then there is this. It talks about for the young and the young at heart, play equipment, archery, all that kind of stuff. This is very much an arts and crafts setup that is not attached to any kind of specific table. I love that. You have no idea how much I love that. I hate those little arts and crafts tables that have to be fit into a corner of the bedroom or the living room or something. I hate them so much. I don't know why I feel so passionately about that, but I do. I love this more than you will ever understand. Being able to set this at the kitchen table or a table like the coffee table in the living room or whatever, and the kids can work there instead. A dream come true for me, let me tell you. And of course, this is an obvious dream come true for basically anybody who loves playing with children in The Sims 4. Like, we've waited 11 years for this. I can't believe we've been so patient. Honestly, it feels a little bit ridiculous now thinking about how it should have been included in the game much, much sooner. But we have it now, so I'm gonna be grateful for it. But the things that you can build, I have tried to build similar to this custom, like sort of workaround makeshift things for the kids to play on. It's really hard to do. You can do it, but it's pretty basic. I can show you in a future video how you can do it without the expansion pack, but again, it's going to be something very basic, and they're not going to have a lot to do on it. This looks like some of the pieces have actual activities attached to them. Now, how it's gonna work is yet to be determined. To me, it kind of looks like a modular pieces that sit next to each other, kind of like the countertops for kitchens or the cupboards for kitchens, and they will snap together or connect in that way. But there is some wording down here and in other places that also kind of makes it seem like it's a build mode thing, where these are foundations or platforms, and then the slides and tunnels and toys snap onto or are set onto the foundations or platforms or whatever. It's really hard to say from what we've got so far, but just the way it was presented in the trailer feels more like they are modular pieces to me that work like kitchen counters and cabinets and stuff like that, more so than this is a build mode platform or foundation with pillars and roof, and then playthings attached to them, like stairs. Yeah. I don't know. I really truly don't. And I'm not sure which way I would prefer it. I think I'd be fine either way, honestly. I think that it would be more customizable if it was a build mode thing, but also it seemed fairly customizable even as it appeared to be a modular set as well. So yeah, again, I don't have strong feelings either way. I'm just glad to have it in the game, and I am going to be so glad to build parks and playgrounds with this around all the different worlds. Now this space, including a bunch of different Sims of different ages, tells me that I was kind of on the right track. You will be able to do family vacations, not just specified for kids going away to camp or some kind of spa and health retreat thing or a romantic getaway. There will also be family vacation or getaway spots. And this very much feels like, I don't want to say hotel, because I think if we were getting hotels, like actual runnable hotels in this pack, they would have made a bigger deal out of it. But there is a pool, and there are a lot of Sims here, and there is a building that appears to be somewhere where all these different Sims can go into, you know, sleep and stuff. So maybe it's gonna work something similar to residential rentals. I don't know, but I do see, and in some of the wording, they've used family vacation getaway type things happening. So that's nice. And the diving board, a normal actual diving board at 2 levels, no less. That's pretty awesome. But there's a lot here to read about custom venues. It doesn't sound like we're getting different types of venue lots. It's more like custom venue is the lot type potentially, and we can set up whatever we want and call it whatever we want on that lot. And there will be certain things that go along with it. Kind of like how there's a distinction between bar, karaoke bar, lounge, and what's the other one? Nightclub. There are slight variations in which Sims show up and stuff like that. This won't be like that. This will be more like, let me think. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it's not gonna be like there are different types of getaways that you designate the lot as. It's gonna be, this is a getaway lot, and you put the objects on it, and Sims will just show up to use the objects. Does that make sense? I feel like that in particular made the least amount of sense of everything I've said, but I think you understand what I'm getting at. It does mention beachfront lots also, by the way, so possibly building at least 1 or 2 lots over the water on the lakes or whatever they are, the ocean, whatever it is, sort of like Sulani. So that's kind of interesting and nice. They talk more about the getaway planner and mixing and matching activities and stuff like that as well. And then they go on to talk about some of the builds for the pack that have been made by Sims community members, which is pretty awesome. It's a good read. You should definitely read. I would not look too deeply into the images just yet. It appears as though some of them are different levels of foundations connecting to each other. It's a possibility, especially if that playground equipment is a build mode thing where the activities are snapped onto different leveled foundations. But it's also just as likely that they built the house on a platform and attached a foundation to it. It's hard to say, so I wouldn't read too much into it yet until we get the actual gameplay trailer and or the videos from the creators who made these lots showing exactly how they made them. I will say this, if, and this is a huge if, there's no mention of it, there's no confirmation of it, there's nothing even indicating that this is a big possibility, but if it's a secret possibility that they're holding on to till the last minute, that we can put two different level foundations next to each other now, I can see that being the base game update rather than being specifically exclusive to this expansion pack. But that is pure 100% speculation on my part. I have no insider information, and I am not saying that these are two different level foundations. I'm saying if there's a possibility that they are and it's not a platform next to a foundation, then I can totally see them adding this to base game rather than paywalling it in this expansion pack, because it expands on something that is part of the base game, if that makes sense. So yeah, but that's a huge if. This is like pure, like way out there speculation on my part, so just take it with a massive grain, and in fact take it with 100 grains of salt. But yeah, definitely check out those lots, and the people that made those lots, those are some magnificent lots. And they seem to really fit in the world too, so that's pretty awesome as well. I cannot wait to check out these neighborhoods. I can't wait to check out these builds. And then at the end, there's some new music and stuff. And on one final note before we go, we did get one little update as well yesterday. It just changed the link that the confirm button was grayed out for when disabling packs. With the new pack selector tool, the confirm button is like disabled or grayed out for what feels like an extended period of time. And I guess it was kind of confusing people a little bit. And so they've reduced that amount of time. But in reality, the time that your confirm button on the pack selector tool stays grayed out is very dependent on the system that you're on and how many packs you have selected. So there's not a lot that they can do about that, but they did reduce the time somewhat so that it's not just like permanently stuck at grayed out, or appears to be permanently stuck at grayed out. Okay, now that we've gotten through all of that, I would love again to hear your thoughts and feelings and stuff with the new pack. I am getting more and more excited, but also simultaneously more and more apprehensive. I'm a little bit afraid that this is going to turn out like businesses and hobbies again, where at the beginning it seemed really awesome, but then as you got deeper and deeper into it, it's a little bit like, this doesn't quite work how I want it to work necessarily. I like it. It's a great idea. There's just some aspects of it that are lacking a little bit. We'll see with the gameplay trailer, obviously, how that's all gonna work out. So definitely come back for that. I will for sure have a video for you on that. And that, again, I believe is on September 10th. Don't quote me, I could have that date wrong, but I'm pretty sure September 10th is the gameplay trailer. Then, of course, they're going to have some stuff on Discord over the next month as well. I will definitely be reporting on that stuff, as long as it has some new big information. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. If you're enjoying my channel, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!